I took my niece's birthday gift back after her mother, my sister, called it cheap. You should have given her an apartment. Now they're desperate because I refused to contact my ungrateful family and stopped all financial support. Please support this channel by visiting our store. We have our new ebook release. This guide breaks down the real mechanics behind feeding, training, grooming and health. The stuff every top 10 tips article skips. 10 sections. One clear action to take in the next 24 hours after every single one. Link in the description box. Well, let's go. My name is Clarine. I'm 33 and I own a small restaurant that's been doing pretty well for the past 7 years. It's funny how life works out sometimes. When my grandmother passed away 7 years ago, nobody expected what was in her will. She left me the restaurant and gave my older sister Morelle the apartment where Grandma had lived for decades. Morelle is 40 now, and back then she was going through a messy divorce with nowhere to go. She was thrilled about getting the apartment because it meant she and her daughter Aubrielle had a place to live. Aubrielle was only 10 at the time, but now she's 17 and about to graduate high school. When I first inherited the restaurant, it was struggling. Grandma had been too old to really manage it properly in her last few years. But I threw myself into turning it around. I worked crazy hours, updated the menu, fixed up the place, and slowly but surely started making a real profit. The thing is, once the money started coming in, my family kind of expected me to share it. And honestly, I didn't mind at first. Family is family, right? So, for the past 7 years, I've been sending my parents $1,200 every month and Morelle $950 to help with their bills. It's been automatic transfers, just part of my monthly budget. But it didn't stop there. I was constantly helping out with other stuff too. When Aubrielle needed new clothes for school, I bought them. When Morelle's washing machine broke, I bought her a new one. When my parents wanted a new TV, I covered it. It just became this thing where whenever anyone in the family needed money, they'd call me. Anyway, Christmas rolled around this year like it always does. We have this family tradition where everyone comes to my parents' house. It's always been a big deal. My parents, Morelle and Aubrielle, a few aunts and uncles, some cousins, the whole crew. I was having a good time catching up with everyone when Morelle pulled me aside into the kitchen. "Clarine, I need to talk to you about something important," she said, looking all serious. "Aubrielle is turning 18 in 3 months. That's a huge milestone. You know, she's becoming an adult and she's going to college soon. I want to make sure her birthday is really special." He nodded. "Yeah, I've been thinking about that too. I want to get her something nice." Morelle smiled at me, but there was something weird about it. "I'm so glad you said that. I've been thinking about it a lot too. And I really want this to be unforgettable for her." Right then, my phone started buzzing with Christmas texts from friends and customers at the restaurant. I got distracted reading them and responding, and by the time I looked up, Morelle had wandered off to talk to someone else. After Christmas, I went back home and got busy with the restaurant. January and February flew by. The restaurant was doing great. We were packed most nights, and I was even starting to think about maybe opening a second location eventually. Then about a month before Aubrielle's birthday, I got this email from Morelle. No message, just a bunch of links to real estate listings. I stared at my screen, confused as hell. These were apartments for sale ranging from like $200,000 to $375,000. I called her immediately. "Morelle, what's with these apartment listings you sent me?" "Oh, those," she said like it was the most normal thing in the world. "I thought maybe you could pick one out for Aubrielle's birthday gift." I literally couldn't speak for a few seconds. "You want me to buy Aubrielle an apartment for her 18th birthday? Well, yeah, it would be perfect timing. She's going to college. She'll need a place to live. And you know, 18 only happens once. Morelle, that's an insane gift. I can't buy an 18-year-old an apartment." Her voice got cold real fast. "Actually, Clarine, turning 18 is a really big deal. It only happens once in a lifetime. Look, when I turned 18, nobody bought me an apartment. Nobody bought me a car. Hell, I asked for a new phone and got told we couldn't afford it. That was completely different times," she snapped. And then she hung up on me. I sat there staring at my phone. Morel had always been dramatic. She loved big gestures and being the center of attention. This was probably just another one of her crazy ideas that she'd forget about in a week. I put it out of my mind and went back to work. The restaurant was busy. Spring was coming and I had real things to worry about. But Aubrielle's birthday was getting closer and I needed to figure out what to get her. I wanted something meaningful since she was going to college. After thinking about it for a while, I decided on a laptop. Not just any laptop. I found this really nice one for $3,500. It was perfect for college, had all the bells and whistles, and would definitely last her through all 4 years. The birthday party was going to be at my parents' house, just like always. When I got there, the usual crowd was already gathered. Aunts, uncles, some family friends, everyone chatting and having drinks. I put my gift on the table with all the others and joined the party. Aubrielle looked happy and excited, running around talking to everyone. She was wearing this cute dress that I'd probably bought her for Christmas or something. When it came time for presents, we all gathered around. My parents went first. They gave Aubrielle a new iPhone, which made her squeal with excitement. Then Morel gave her this fancy gift card to some high-end makeup store for like $250. Then it was my turn. I handed Aubrielle the beautifully wrapped laptop box, feeling pretty confident about my choice. Happy birthday, sweetheart. I hope this helps you with college. Aubrielle tore off the wrapping paper and opened the box. When she saw it was a laptop, her face just fell. Not just disappointed but like genuinely upset. I looked around confused. My parents looked annoyed. Morel looked furious. Seriously? Morel said loud enough for everyone to hear. A laptop. That's it. I was completely blindsided. It's a really good laptop. It cost $3,500. Clarine, that's cheap and you know it. You're being greedy with your own niece. I stood there in complete shock, holding this expensive laptop that I thought was a great gift, while my sister called me cheap and greedy in front of the entire family. What are you talking about? I managed to say. This laptop cost $3,500. It's one of the most expensive ones I could find. Morel's voice got even louder. We already decided you were going to give Aubrielle an apartment. That's what we talked about at Christmas. No, we didn't decide anything. You mentioned wanting her birthday to be special, but I never agreed to buy her an apartment. Don't lie to me, Clarine. I know your restaurant is doing well. I know you're planning to expand and build another location. You have the money. Everyone was staring at us now. The party had gone completely silent except for Morel shouting. I felt like I was in some kind of nightmare. Morel, even if I wanted to, I don't have apartment money just sitting around. And even if I did, that's not a normal 18th birthday gift. You're so ungrateful, she screamed. After everything this family has done for you. You're cruel and selfish. That's when Aubrielle burst into tears. She threw the laptop box down and glared at me with these angry, hurt eyes. You are selfish, Aunt Clarine. You're so greedy, she sobbed. And then she ran upstairs to her room. My parents, who had been silent this whole time, finally spoke up. Clarine, look what you've done, Mom said, shaking her head. You've ruined Aubrielle's birthday. She's crying on her special day because of you. Dad nodded. This is all your fault. You got her hopes up and then disappointed her. I looked around the room. Some relatives were staring at their drinks, clearly uncomfortable. Others were whispering to each other. The whole party was ruined. And somehow I was the villain. That's when something inside me just snapped. I was tired. Tired of always being expected to fix everything with my money. Tired of being treated like a bank account instead of a family member. I walked over to the gift table, picked up the laptop box and tucked it under my arm. You know what? I'm taking this back and you won't be getting another cent from me. I walked out of that house without saying goodbye to anyone. I could hear Morel screaming behind me, but I didn't turn around. I got in my car and drove home, my hands shaking the entire time. When I got to my apartment, I saw my phone lighting up with calls and texts. Mom, Dad, Morel, they were all trying to reach me. I didn't even bother reading the messages. I deleted them all and put my phone on silent. Then I sat down at my laptop and did something I probably should have done years ago. I calculated exactly how much money I'd given my family since inheriting the restaurant. $1,200 a month to my parents for 7 years. $950 a month to Morel for 7 years. That was $2,150 every single month, which came out to $25,800 per year. Over 7 years, that was over $180,000 just in monthly payments. But then there were all the extras. The appliances I'd bought Morel, the clothes for Aubrielle, the furniture for my parents, the car repairs, the medical bills I'd helped with. When I added it all up, I'd spent close to $230,000 on my family over the past 7 years. $230,000. I could have expanded my restaurant years ago with that money. I could have bought myself a house. I could have invested it and been set for life. Instead, I'd been supporting a family that apparently saw me as nothing more than their personal ATM. I logged into my banking app and canceled the automatic transfers. Both of them, the $1,200 to my parents and the $950 to Morel. Just like that, no more monthly payments. I took screenshots of the cancellation confirmations and sent them to the family group chat. No more monthly payments. Don't contact me again. Then I turned off my phone and went to bed. The next morning my phone was completely blown up. Dozens of missed calls, tons of text messages. I scrolled through them while drinking my coffee. Mom had sent about 10 messages saying I was being cruel, that they needed the money for bills, that I couldn't just abandon family like this. Dad's messages were shorter but angrier. He called me selfish and said I was turning my back on the people who raised me. Morel's messages were the worst. She called me a villain, said I was destroying the family, that I was proving I never really loved any of them. I typed one response to the group chat. I don't want to communicate with any of you anymore. Please don't bother me. Then I blocked all their numbers. A couple of days later, I was at the restaurant during the dinner rush when I saw them through the front window. My parents and Morel marching toward the door with determined looks on their faces. They burst in and immediately started causing a scene. There she is, Morel yelled, pointing at me. The worst sister in the world. Clarine, you need to fix this right now, Dad demanded. All my customers were staring. My staff looked confused and worried. This was my place of business, and they were trying to humiliate me here too. I called over my security guy, Trent. Get them out of here and don't let them back in. Clarine, you can't be serious, Mom shouted as Trent escorted them toward the door. We're your family, Morel screamed. But Trent got them out and I told him to make sure they stayed banned from the restaurant. After that, the calls started coming from other relatives, aunts and uncles who'd heard the family's version of events. They all said the same thing. I was being too harsh. I should forgive and forget. Family is family. I hung up on every single one of them. Eventually the calls stopped. The texts stopped. The drama died down. And you know what? I felt lighter than I had in years. For the first time since inheriting the restaurant, I could focus on my business without worrying about who needed money. The months flew by without any contact from my family. For the first time in 7 years, I wasn't sending monthly checks or getting calls about emergency expenses. Felt weird at first, but then it felt amazing. I had so much extra money that I didn't know what to do with it. I started putting that $2,150 a month into a separate business account. Within a few months, I had enough saved up to seriously start planning my second restaurant location. It was incredible how fast money accumulated when you weren't constantly giving it away. Life was good even without my family. Drama. Then one day in late spring, I was scrolling through social media during a break at work when I saw something that caught my attention. It was a post from one of my cousins. Photos from Aubrielle's high school graduation. I stared at the pictures. There was Aubrielle in her cap and gown looking all grown up. But what really struck me was how sad everyone looked. My parents, Morel, even Aubrielle herself, they all had these forced smiles that didn't reach their eyes. They looked tired and stressed. I felt a little pang of something. Not regret exactly, but I don't know. It was weird seeing them like that. A week after graduation, I was at home on a Sunday morning when my doorbell rang. I looked through the peephole and couldn't believe what I saw. My parents and Morel were standing on my porch. I opened the door but didn't invite them in. "What do you want?" "I thought I made it clear that I didn't want to communicate with you anymore." "Look," Dad said, "you can be mad at us all you want, but don't take it out on Aubrielle. She's starting college in the fall." Morel nodded. "You promised years ago that you'd pay for her education. She's counting on that." I almost laughed. "Are you serious right now? Aubrielle called me greedy and selfish. Remember, she can figure out college on her own." Morel's face got red. "Clarine, you can't do this to her. She needs that money." "No, she doesn't need it. She can get student loans like everyone else. She can work. She can earn scholarships. There are lots of options that don't involve me." "But you have the money," Dad said. "Your restaurant is doing great." "Yeah, and now I'm using that money for my own business instead of supporting people who treat me like garbage." Mom started getting teary. "Clarine, please. We're family. Family doesn't call each other greedy and selfish. Family doesn't expect $230,000 in free money and then demand apartments on top of it." I could see they were all shocked by that number. I don't think they'd ever actually added up how much I'd given them over the years. "Just leave," I said. "I already told you I don't want to communicate anymore." I closed the door and listened to them arguing on my porch for a few minutes before they finally left. After that, things went quiet again. I didn't hear from them at all through the summer. I assumed Aubrielle had figured out college somehow, student loans, community college, whatever. It wasn't my problem anymore. Then one day in early September, I was at the restaurant during the lunch rush when I saw Aubrielle walk through the door. She looked different, more mature, maybe a little thinner. She was wearing clothes I didn't recognize, probably because I hadn't bought them for her. She walked up to the hostess stand and asked if she could speak with me. I was surprised, but I told my manager I'd be taking a quick break. We sat down at a corner table away from the other customers. "Hi, Aunt Clarine." She took a deep breath. "I wanted to apologize to you for what I said at my birthday party, calling you selfish and greedy. That was really messed up and I'm sorry. I wasn't expecting that." "Okay, thank you. I know you gave me an expensive laptop and I acted like a spoiled brat about it. I've had time to think about it and I realize how crazy that was. Who buys an 18-year-old an apartment?" I smiled a little. "Exactly. Anyway, I wanted you to know that I got into State University on a full academic scholarship. It's not the fancy private school I was originally planning on, but it's still a really good program." "Aubrielle, that's amazing. Congratulations. You should be really proud of yourself." Her face lit up. "Thanks. And I got a job too. I'm working at a bookstore near campus, so I'll have my own spending money. Look at you being all responsible and independent." "Yeah, well, I had to grow up pretty fast after everything that happened. I realized I couldn't just expect other people to pay for my life." We talked for a few more minutes. She told me about her classes, her dorm room, her job. She seemed happy and excited about her future in a way that had nothing to do with other people's money. "Aubrielle, I'm really proud of you for handling this whole situation so maturely and I accept your apology." "Thank you. That means a lot. You know what? Since you're working so hard and doing so well in school, I'm going to send you $600 a month just to help out with expenses and encourage you to keep up the good work." Her eyes got wide. "Really? Thank you so much. That'll help a lot with food and books and stuff. Just promise me this stays between us. I don't want your mom or grandparents knowing about it." "Of course. They're still pretty mad at you anyway." "How are they doing? Your mom and your grandparents?" Brielle sighed. "Not great, honestly. Mom had to get a part-time job at Target to help pay the bills. And Grandma and Grandpa are both working full-time now instead of the part-time jobs they had before. Everyone's pretty stressed about money." I felt a tiny bit bad hearing that, but mostly I felt vindicated. They were managing. They weren't starving or homeless. They just had to actually work for their money now instead of relying on me. Aubrielle left after that, promising to keep in touch. I went back to work feeling better than I had in months. It was nice to know that at least one person in my family had learned something from this whole mess. The restaurant was busier than ever, and my plans for the second location were moving forward. I'd found the perfect spot and was just waiting for all the permits to go through. Life was good. Really good. Several months passed after Aubrielle's visit, and I kept my promise about sending her $600 each month. She'd text me occasionally with updates about school, good grades, making friends, enjoying her job at the bookstore. It was nice having at least one family member I could have a normal relationship with. Meanwhile, my restaurant empire was finally expanding. I'd gotten all the permits approved for my second location, and construction was moving along nicely. The new place was going to be bigger than the original with a full bar and private dining rooms. I was so excited about it. The extra $2,150 I'd been saving every month instead of sending to my family had really added up. Combined with the profits from my first restaurant, I had enough money to do the expansion right. No cutting corners, no cheap materials. Everything was going to be perfect. I was at the original restaurant one evening in late November going over some vendor contracts when Aubrielle walked in again. This time she looked excited instead of nervous. We sat down at our usual corner table and she filled me in on everything. Her classes, her friends, how much she loved living on campus. She seemed like a completely different person from the spoiled teenager who'd thrown a tantrum at her birthday party. "You know what the best part is," she said. "I feel like I actually earned all of this. The scholarship, the good grades, the independence. It's mine because I worked for it. That's exactly how it should be. I used to think having things handed to me was better, but it's not. This feels so much better." We talked for about an hour before she had to head back to campus. After she left, I sat there thinking about how proud I was of her growth and maturity. The holidays came and went without any contact from my parents or Morel. I spent Christmas at the restaurant hosting a special dinner for customers who didn't have family plans. It was actually really nice. No drama, no expectations, just good food and happy people. In January, my second restaurant finally opened. The grand opening was amazing. Packed house, great reviews, local food bloggers taking pictures of everything. I'd hired an excellent manager to run the day-to-day operations, so I could split my time between both locations. Within a month, the new place was booking up weeks in advance. Word was spreading fast about the food quality and atmosphere. I was making more money than I'd ever dreamed of when I first inherited Grandma's little struggling restaurant. One afternoon in February, I was at the new location training some servers when my phone rang. It was Aubrielle. "Aunt Clarine, I need to tell you something. My mom and grandparents know about the money you've been sending me." My heart sank. How did they find out? I accidentally left my bank statement out when I was home last weekend. Mom saw the deposits and confronted me about it. "What did you tell them?" "The truth. That you were helping me because I apologized and I've been doing well in school. But now they're all upset again." "Are they giving you a hard time about it?" "Yes." "Not really. They're more focused on being mad at you. Mom keeps saying it's not fair that you're helping me, but not them." Decide. "Aubrielle, do you want me to stop sending the money? I don't want to cause problems for you." "No, please don't stop. That money really helps, and I've been working hard to deserve it. It's not my fault they can't see the difference." "Okay, but if it gets too uncomfortable for you, just let me know." 3 weeks later, I was at home on a Sunday morning when the doorbell rang again. This time it was just Morel standing on my porch, looking exhausted and older than I remembered. I opened the door but stayed in the doorway. "What do you want, Morel?" "Clarine, please, can we talk? Really talk this time. I don't think we have anything to say to each other. I know I messed up. I know I was wrong about the apartment thing. And the way I acted at Aubrielle's party was terrible." I studied her face. She looked genuinely upset, not just angry like before. "Go on. I've been thinking about everything that happened and I realized how unfair I was to you. You helped our family for years and instead of being grateful I just kept demanding more. Aubrielle told me about the scholarship and her job and how proud you are of her. I'm proud of her too. She's become this amazing independent young woman. She has. How are you doing? Aubrielle mentioned you're working at Target. Part-time there, and I picked up some weekend shifts cleaning offices. It's not glamorous, but it pays the bills. Mom and Dad are both working full-time now too. We stood there in awkward silence for a minute. Clarine, I'm not here to ask for money. I just wanted to apologize. Really apologize. You were generous to us for years and we took advantage of that generosity. I'm sorry. I looked at my sister. Really looked at her. She seemed different, more tired, but also more genuine than she'd been in years. Thank you for saying that, Morel. I appreciate the apology. I hope someday we can have a relationship again. Not the old relationship where you supported us financially, but a real sister relationship. Maybe we can, but it's going to take time. I understand. I just wanted you to know that I'm sorry and I'm proud of what you've built with your restaurants. After she left, I sat in my kitchen thinking about everything. My family had finally learned what I'd been trying to teach them for years, that earning your own way feels better than having everything handed to you. A few months later, Aubrielle called to tell me she'd been accepted into a summer internship program at a marketing firm. She was so excited about gaining real work experience and building her resume. These days, my life is exactly what I want it to be. 2 successful restaurants, financial independence, and a relationship with my niece that's based on mutual respect instead of obligation. Morel and I text occasionally now, nothing deep, but we're slowly rebuilding some kind of connection. My parents and I still don't talk much, but that's okay. I've learned that family relationships work best when they're based on love and respect, not financial dependency. I still send Aubrielle $600 a month, but it feels different. It's not out of obligation, and it's not because anyone demanded it. It's because she earned my respect by taking responsibility for her life and showing gratitude. She proved she could stand on her own, and that's what made me want to help her. Sometimes when I walk into the second restaurant and see it packed with happy customers, I think about Grandma. I wonder if she knew exactly what she was doing when she left me the restaurant instead of the apartment. Maybe she knew I'd build something out of it. Maybe she knew I'd need the strength to stand my ground one day. Either way, I'm grateful. Grateful for the business, grateful for the lessons, and even grateful for the drama that forced me to finally set boundaries. Looking back now, I don't regret walking out of that birthday party with a laptop under my arm. That moment was a turning point for me. It was the first time I said no, the first time I stood up for myself after years of being taken advantage of. My family may never see me the way I wish they would. They may never fully appreciate the sacrifices I made or the money I poured into helping them. But that's okay. I've stopped needing their approval. What matters is that I respect myself. What matters is that I finally learned to put my own needs first, and in doing so, I built a life I'm proud of. And funny enough, the one person I thought I'd lost forever, my niece, turned out to be the one who grew alongside me. Aubrielle's independence and maturity are proof that sometimes tough love is the best kind of love. So now, when people ask me about my family, I just smile and say, we're all figuring it out. Because the truth is, I figure myself out. And that has made all the difference.